What the heck is up, you guys? It's your boy Ace, aka Animated Heroes, here back with another action figure review. Today we're going to be taking a look at what has been said to be the best SH Figuarts Spider-Man figure to date, and I'm excited to discuss this one with you guys. It is none other than the Spider-Man No Way Home final swing suit, or the new red and blue costume. Now let's go ahead and get right into it, starting off with the sexy packaging. Now, unlike the previous releases, this box is a bit more on the thinner side, not by much, but it is very noticeable. I'm sure you guys can see on camera. We've got the red and blue themed colors for the new costume. It absolutely makes sense. The yellow background, of course, you can see the window where the figure is. This looks very nice. That's one thing I want to throw out there. Like, I saw this. The promo images had already sold me, but just looking at it through the package, it looks really dang good. Anyway, we got an image of him right there. It says Marvel Studios right there. Spider-Man No Way Home. Tamashii Nations, Bandai, all that good stuff. Marvel, nothing much at the top. We've got an image of him diving in at the bottom. Swinging in image right there. And then on this side, we've kind of got him in a jumping pose. It says Spider-Man, new red and blue suit. We've got the Spider-Man logo right there, SH Figuarts. Then, of course, on the back, you got some poses you can get the figure into, as well as a bunch of stuff I can't read because I imported this figure. Now anyway, let's stop wasting time and go ahead and dive right into the figure. Now, straight out of the packaging, I can see why anyone who has their hands on this would say that it is one of the best Spider-Man figures of all time, because I said it while looking at it in the package, I said it while looking at the promo images, and now that I have it in hand, I can say it having it in person. This is one of the most beautiful looking Spider-Man figures. And it doesn't matter whether you're talking comic or MCU, because I've heard people say that you can absolutely use this figure for both, and I completely agree. While it is an MCU suit, it does look cartoonish enough to where you could pose it up with some of your comic book figures and it would be absolutely fine. Like, this thing just looks good. I love the red that they chose for the suit. I love the head sculpt. I love the Spider-Man logo that's on the chest. I am in love with the blue that they went with. This almost metallic blue. It's not completely metallic, but it's enough to where it has a shine to it. These colors just absolutely complement each other, and they make this figure pop as a whole. Like, this right here is such a damn good looking figure, man. Like, that's something I can't stress enough. This is just a beautiful looking Spider-Man. Now, anyway, let's go ahead and take a closer look at him so we can examine some of the details further. Now, I know I bragged on the paint of this figure quite a bit, and I meant everything I said about it, but another selling factor was the head sculpt. I absolutely love the head sculpt of this Spider-Man. I feel like Tamashii Nations captured this mask with excellence, and I meant it when I said that it does also look like it could be used as a comic book Spidey, because if you bring out a comic book Spidey, as you can see, there isn't too much different going on here other than the painting. Like, the costume definitely looks like this could come straight out of a comic book, but at the same time, if you pose him next to a more realistic or live action Spider-Man, it still doesn't look too bad next to him. But honestly, the more I look at it, I do think it would probably look better in a comic book verse, and that's just my personal opinion, but you really can't go wrong with either. Now anyway, on to the details. Everything is painted on this figure so nicely, man. All of the line work for the webs on the costume, the logo on the chest, the blues, you don't have any paint bleeding that I've ran into yet. I really love this logo on the back. It looks so dang good, and I love how my light is hitting this, man. It makes this figure pop so much. I can't brag on this enough. There's not a whole lot going on because it's still a very simple costume. It's probably the most simple Spider-Man costume that they have made, actually. It's just a little bit of muscle definition in here, not a whole lot, but it's enough to where you can tell it's there. Also some right in here along the rib cage and everything. And then down to the sculpted if you want to call these boots feet, I'm just going to say feet. Even the feet are done very well. And I think that they sculpted these in a way to where it'll stand better, because some of the Spider-Man figures don't stand the best, this guy being one of them. So yeah, everything about this figure so far is a major upgrade from everything we've gotten thus far in terms of Spider-Man figures from Tamashii Nations. Now, when it comes to the height of this figure, to the top of his head, he is just shy of 6 inches, which technically I believe this is still a teenage Peter Parker. And then Tom Holland isn't the tallest of actors anyway, so it makes sense for him to be on the smaller side. I am perfectly fine with this. And of course, we'll see how he scales with a ton of other Spider-Man stuff I plan on showing off a little bit later. When it comes to articulation, he looks up about that much, so you can definitely get him in those looking up poses. I wish it could go a bit further, but that's fine. He looks down very well also, not all the way, but you can get it to the point to where you can tell he's looking down. He does get really good tilt, turn, all of that movement, and the head is on this weird hinge thing, or I think it's a double ball peg actually. Yeah, it's a double ball peg on under here, but like it's this weird I don't know what this is, man. I don't know what makes them use this. I guess so that the head will sit up higher to help the articulation, and if that's the case, there's definitely some other figures they should utilize this on. But yeah, it's just a very odd choice to me, but it works, so I'm not going to complain about it. Anyway, the arms go up and out very well. Now compare this to the PS4 Spider-Man. It just really goes to show Tamashii Nations has stepped up with these figures. They come all the way in. Swinging poses are not going to be a problem. He does have a bicep swivel. He does have double jointed elbows. Hands are going to be on a ball peg. Let's try to get that off of there. Very tiny ball peg, but also at the same time effective, and that's what really matters to me. And I always take these off to kind of show you guys. At the diaphragm, he leans forward very, very well. Let's straighten those arms so you guys can see that. At the diaphragm alone, not utilizing the waist, he leans forward about that much. If you use the waist, he is hunched all the way over, so that's really good. They tried to cover the gapping as much as they could on the back, and I'm fine with this. I mean, obviously, there's no way that they could have perfected something like this, so it's not going to bother me. Now, another thing, getting right into what I know most people don't like about these figures, the crotch piece. And if you collect Marvel Legends, then I understand it, but no matter what you got to say, Marvel Legends ain't posing like this. This does not bother me. Anyway, he kicks forward about that much, kicks all the way back, so that's perfect. He does the splits just fine. He does have a built-in thigh swivel that works wonders. The knees bend all the way in, foot goes down about that much, up about that much. Really, really good ankle rocker, and then he does have toe hinge. So say what you want about the design of these Spider-Man figures from Tamashii Nations. I know Mafex does the legs to where they look a little bit better around the crotch area, but again, no matter how you complain about it, these work, and I'm not going to complain about something that works. It's good. That's all there is to it, man. These figures are going to pose, and at the end of the day, that's what really matters when it comes to a Spider-Man figure. So if this design choice isn't your personal favorite, why are we continuing to complain? Don't pick them up if it's that much of a bother to you. Anyway, I just had to get that out of there because people have been getting on my nerves about that. But yeah, very, very, very beautiful posing Spider-Man. Now, when it comes to this Spider-Man figure in particular, you don't really get a whole lot of accessories, which, to be honest, it doesn't bother me because at this point, we've gotten so many Spider-Man figures from Tamashii Nations that everything is pretty much interchangeable, especially when it comes to the web accessories. Now, granted, some hands will fit on this Spider-Man, some won't. The ones that don't are the ones that aren't going to match the flesh tone or the costume color anyway, so it doesn't really matter all that much. Anyway, he comes with a neutral head sculpt and a pair of fist hands right out of the packaging. He comes with a pair of kind of reaching, posing, stylish type hands. You can use these for wall crawling if you choose. He comes with a pair of hands where the thumb protrudes outward. This is for holding on to one of the web accessories that I'm going to show in just a second. He comes with a pair of flipping hands. I love how the pointing finger and the pinky are kind of spread out a little bit more. And then he does come with a pair of wall crawlers. I love these as well. As you can see, the fingers are kind of curved inward a bit to show this is basically him when he's hanging off of a wall and preparing to go into action. Anyway, he comes with another head sculpt where the eyes are squinted just a tad bit. This is one I don't really think was necessary, or at least they should have squinted the eyes a bit more, because it's barely any different than the original one that we got him straight out of the package with. But I mean, it is what it is. Can't complain about extra accessories. Anyway, he does come with one smaller web. He comes with one longer web. And again, we've seen these before. He comes with the web that he grips. He comes with this piece right here, which is for pulling out that back part that I showed earlier. And then, of course, he comes with this piece where you plug in a Tamashii Nation stand for whenever you want to have him doing something aerial. Now, all in all, accessories are fine. He could have came with a bit more, but I mean, the only other thing they could have thrown in is a Tom Holland head. And speaking of Tom Holland heads, you actually can put the Tom Holland head sculpts on here from the previous Spider-Man figures, only if you take this piece off right here. And since it's on a double ball peg, it does just pop off, no problem. But for the people who said that you can't put these head sculpts on there, you definitely can, and it works just fine. Like, it's not blue tack or anything like that. It stays on him very, very well. But of course, you do have to have the previous Spider-Man figures in order to be able to do this. Moving on to size comparisons, here he is standing next to a couple of costumes from the No Way Home movie. First off, we have him standing next to the SH Figuarts Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, which out of all of these is the most problematic. Now, I know it's the best Sam Raimi 6-inch Spider-Man we've gotten, but it still has issues. We also have him standing next to the SH Figuarts No Way Home Andrew Garfield figure, which has its share of problems as well, but none of those really being QC like with Tobey Maguire. And last but not least, we have him standing next to the integrated suit, which is Tom Holland. And to be honest, I'm loving the Tom Holland figures more, man. I'm really enjoying these more than the Andrew and the Tobey Maguire figures. Like, I just am. Now, switching over to some Metacom toy, here he is standing next to a couple of Spider-Man comic book figures. We have him standing next to basically a generic comic book Spidey. We have him standing next to the Ben Reilly, which is in the middle. And then, of course, we have him standing next to the symbiote or black suit Spider-Man. Now, when you have him paired up with a few of these at the time, that's when you start to realize, okay, not entirely comic book-esque, but when you have him posed next to maybe one or two, then you can put these together and I think they'll look fine. Next up, here he is standing next to some more No Way Home figures, this time distributed by Hasbro. We have him standing next to the Hasbro retro carded Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, which I think these look okay together. We also have him standing next to Hasbro's version of the Final Swing suit or red and blue suit. And it's funny that you can tell these are the same costumes, but sometimes the color palette alone makes a hell of a difference. Now, it's really up to you which of these you like more. If you like the more saturated colors, obviously SH Figuarts is going to be the way to go. If you like the more muted colors, then it's going to be Hasbro. Either way, both of them look really good. And then last but not least, we have him standing next to a figure I like, but the more I look at it alongside these other three figures, I realize how bad it is. We have him standing next to the Tobey Maguire No Way Home Spider-Man. For some others, here he is standing next to the Marvel Legends Spider-Man Homecoming Vulture, the Spider-Man No Way Home Green Goblin, and then of course we also have him standing next to a Marvel Legends PS4, PS5 Gamerverse Miles Morales. And as you can see, the feet are warped on both Green Goblin and Miles Morales, which is extremely annoying. So it's not completely accurate, but I mean, I guess you guys can get it well enough. And if you want to see him standing next to the most intimidating threats of his universe, here he is standing next to the SH Figuarts Venom and the SH Figuarts Carnage. Now, if I'm being completely honest with you guys, there's not much that could stop this figure for being a contender for my top 10 action figures of 2024. Now, I know it's still fairly early in the year. We're right along the middle of February, and of course, we've still got 10 more months to go, but I love a really good Spider-Man figure, and this right here is one of the ones that I have enjoyed the most in modern time. Sure enough, I pick up a ton of Spider-Man figures, and for the most part, I really enjoy all of them, but something about this one here just does everything that I need it to do. It satisfies my collecting needs in every way possible. If I was to be told that I could only collect one more Spider-Man figure and that would be it, this would be my go-to choice, just because, again, you can fit it in whatever universe you want and it's going to look well enough. The colors on this thing, just, it is the perfect version of my own interpretation of Spider-Man. When I think of Spider-Man, this is exactly what I want to see, whether it's comic book or movie. Now, don't get me wrong, I do love all of the classic looks. I love some of even Tom Holland's other costumes. Like, I know a lot of people didn't like the integrated suit. I absolutely loved it. Red and black is my favorite color combination, so there's a little bit of bias there, and then when you add some gold on top of it, I think it just makes it look badass. I really did like the Iron Spider costume, and even the Homecoming costume was cool to me. I did love the little costume that he put together himself. I feel like it was kind of reminiscent of Ben Reilly. I think that was done intentional, but it's just, I've really enjoyed the journey of Tom Holland, and honestly, I hope that this isn't his last, because I would love to see him reprise his role in this very costume. I'd love to see what kind of movie they would come up next for a grounded Spider-Man. And anyway, back to the figure, man. This is just one I recommend picking up, especially if you've already gotten the others. Now, it is a bit expensive, and on top of that, he's a web exclusive, so that's the reason that the price is up. He runs for about 80, 90 bucks. Very steep for very little, and I hate that, but once you get the figure in hand and you start enjoying it, you don't really think about it too much. Get this guy while he is available. Don't make the mistake that I made, not pre-ordering it, and then I had to wait and hope that Hobby Genki could get it back in stock for me to get a review out to you guys soon enough. And it already took me way too long. Some of the other big YouTubers have already beaten me to this when I could have had this figure way before them had I pre-ordered it like I should have. But I won't be making that mistake again, don't worry. These Tom Holland Spider-Man figures, or just Spider-Man figures in general, I'm going to continue pre-ordering from this point forward. But anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed this review. If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. That always helps me out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that bell icon and stay safe, guys. Peace.